When you hear the name Audrey Hepburn, you may think of the iconic picture of her in a black dress, black gloves, with pearls hanging around her neck from Breakfast at Tiffany's. This is one of the many reasons Audrey Hepburn has become this picture of beauty. Today I'm going to explain why Audrey Hepburn is a picture of beauty, both inside and out. She has always been known as one of the most beautiful women in the world, but her inner beauty shines bright as well. For the past few weeks, I've conducted research on Audrey Hepburn's life, and I've really discovered why she was such a beautiful person both inside and out. Beauty is partially about how you look on the outside, but your personality and how you handle yourself around others is truly what makes you beautiful. To start off, a little bit about Audrey's fame and how she grew to be one of the most beautiful people in history. Audrey Hepburn became a picture of beauty at a young age following her first big role. She was granted the lead role in Roman Holiday at the age of 24. Following her first box office hit, she was signed to 6 more movies, including Breakfast at Tiffany's, which we all know the name of because it's become such a big role. With fashions in this movie designed by Hubert da Vinci, the film captured Hepburn as this fashion icon, and she appeared in nearly every fashion magazine that year. After Breakfast at Tiffany's, Audrey is known globally as one of the most beautiful actresses in history. Between her iconic style and her perfect features, her beauty was taking Hollywood by storm. Audrey's style of mixing patterns with white and lots of dresses, black dresses, and accenting everything with pearls, she was considered one of the most beautiful and elegant women in the world. Then and now, her beauty shone through her dull eyes and contagious smile, according to Schwartz in a biography about Audrey Hepburn. Now, Audrey may have been extremely beautiful on the outside, but her inner beauty and her charity work for others is what made her beautiful on the inside too. Audrey Hepburn grew up in World War II, and this played a huge factor in her life and ultimately led to all of her work. At the end of World War II, Audrey Hepburn weighed 88 pounds and survived mostly on turnip bulbs and water. When rescued, UNICEF was the first to aid her, filling buildings with food and water for them to go to. Audrey Hepburn was an active humanitarian and used her fame to share her message with others. When explaining what the organization meant to her, Hepburn recalled the horrors of living in Brussels during the war. "I was among those who received food and medical relief right after World War II," she remembered. "I have a long-lasting gratitude and trust for what UNICEF does." This was stated by Audrey Hepburn when recalling the war. Audrey Hepburn was awarded the prestigious President's Medal of Freedom for her work with UNICEF. On December 11, 1992, just a few short months before the passing of Audrey Hepburn, President George H.W. Bush awarded Audrey with the President's Medal of Freedom, stating Audrey Hepburn, whose acting career put us among the most talented artists, but whose work with the International Children's Fund put her in our hearts. Audrey Hepburn could not be there on that night due to medical issues, but received full recognition for her work in movies and with children of UNICEF. As they awarded each person that night, a little was said about them and the work that they did to receive their medal. Among Audrey Hepburn recipients were Ella Fitzgerald, Elie Wiesel, and Johnny Carson. When it came to award Audrey, President Bush mentioned how she was ill and could not be there due to doctor's orders. However, he still spoke very fondly of her, mentioning her movies that she'd been a part of, all the roles she had done, and most importantly, her charity work. He stated, "Audrey Hepburn is a tireless worker and a devoted ambassador to the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. America is proud to honor Audrey Hepburn." Audrey's beauty and inner beauty always shined bright, but her humble personality even made her shine brighter. Audrey was an extremely humble person and always remembered where she came from. Throughout her life, in interviews, she constantly was correcting interviewers, saying that she wasn't a star, she wasn't an icon, she was just doing things for herself. Some of her comments and most famous quotes include, "The beauty of a woman is not in the clothes she wears, the figure that she carries, or the way she combs her hair. True beauty in a woman is reflected in her soul. It's the caring and the loving she gives. The passion that she shows and the beauty of a woman only grows with passing years." Another big one that was her most iconic comment ever was, I never think of myself as an icon. It's in other people's minds and it is not in mine. I just do my own thing. In an interview with Terry Wogan, Audrey corrected him numerous times, saying how she wasn't here for the stardom. Hogan interviews Audrey from the beginning, stating how her career and each of her roles played a huge part of her life. When first talking about her big role in Roman Holiday, Wogan mentions how it was like working with such a big actor and when she was so inexperienced, and she stops him saying, "I still am inexperienced." The interview continues, still talking about this first big role, and Audrey states how she was much more nervous being in this interview with Wogan than being on set for the first time. Hogan later goes on to ask how she relates to two completely opposite characters in My Fair Lady and Breakfast at Tiffany's. In the movie, she is seen as elegance, and in another, she is seen as gauche, lacking grace. Hogan asks which one she relates to more, and she states how she sees herself as more of a gauche personality, and Wogan comes back and asks how her audience would say she was extremely sophisticated. She corrects him and says, "That's in the beholder's eye, but I don't see it." Audrey Hepburn was a picture of beauty physically, but her heart and personality is what made her beautiful all around. In summary, Audrey Hepburn exemplifies the value of beauty through her physical beauty, but also through her heart and endless charity and her humble personality. Beauty is not just how you look. It's what's on the inside and on the outside, and how you approach everyday life and what you do with it. Each and every one of us is beautiful in our own ways, and what makes us beautiful is not just on the outside, it's how we live our lives. How will you make a difference in others' lives, and how will you impact others with your inner beauty?